Hello, my name's Jeremiah. I'm an elder from the village of Nazareth. I've been watching out my windows and I see lots of people walking. Oh, some are walking slow, some are walking fast. Some I see walking with their dogs. I've even seen young men walking with their children in the middle of the day. You know, some of these people are my neighbors. Jesus once told a story about a neighbor. May I tell it to you? There was a young lawyer who had just listened to Jesus teach. And the young lawyer asked Jesus, "What must I do to inherit eternal life?" And Jesus said, "You are a lawyer. What does the law say? What is written in it?" And the young man said, "Well, it says to love the Lord your God with all of your heart, with all of your soul, with all of your strength, and all of your mind, and to love your neighbor as yourself." Well, Jesus said, "You have answered correctly. Do this and you shall live." Well, the lawyer, wanting to justify himself, asked, "Who is my neighbor?" So Jesus told this story, this parable. Now there was a man who was traveling down from Jerusalem to Jericho. It's a very dangerous road. And this young man fell among thieves and who stripped him of his clothing and wounded him and departed, leaving him half dead. Not long later, a priest came by, a leader in the temple, and when he saw the man, he went by on the other side of the road. A little later, a certain Levite came by, also a leader among the temple, and he also went by on the other side of the road. And then a certain Samaritan came by, and when he saw the injured man, he went over to him, and he had compassion. Now you must understand that the Samaritans are a very hated, disliked people. And so the Samaritan tended to the man's wounds and bandaged them and poured on oil and wine. And then he put him on his own animal, perhaps a donkey, and then took him to an inn and took care of him. Now, the next morning, the Samaritan needed to journey on, and so he took the man to the innkeeper and gave him 2 denarii, the equivalent of 2 days' wages, and said to him, "Take this money and use it for whatever expenses I've incurred, and whatever more that you might spend, I will pay you again when I come again this way." And so Jesus turned to the young man and said, "Among these 3 men, who was a neighbor to the man who fell among thieves?" And of course, Jesus was answered by the young man. He said to him, "Of course, the man who showed mercy." And Jesus said, "Go and do likewise." So I ask you, do you know your neighbors? Can you show mercy and compassion to them?